good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time y'all watching this. Y'all see the title. We love to, yeah. We love to, yeah. It's the Beatles, man. Come on, man. It's the Beatles, man. Come on, man. You can't go wrong with the Beatles. Now, y'all probably wondering why I picked this album to do first from the Beatles. Do they have better albums? Yes. Why did I start here? Let me let you know. So, I was introduced to the Beatles through this album. You know, my mother collected vinyl. Of course, she, played music and we cleaned the house, all that stuff. She loved all genres of music. So my mother, shout out to my moms for not just listening to soul music or something, the Nita Bakers and the Stevies and stuff, and the Whispers and the Temptations and Gladys Knights and the Pips and stuff. But my mother listened to other music as well. And when I got a record player, I remember getting my first record player, and it was small. I played the 45s. I only got 45. My mother gave me the small record player. I used to play 45 records on. It was dope. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to Mom Dukes, man. But yeah, the Beatles, man. So I found this album, and if you look at the album cover, I'm a kid. When I say kid, when I first discovered music, of course, through my mom's, through the house, right? And shout out to the Passive Podcast. And shout out to the THHC Podcast, both on YouTube. Go check them out. But yeah, so this album I was introduced to the Beatles through the Yellow Submarine album. Plain and simple. Through the movie. They got a movie. And then the album with the same title, which is this is the soundtrack. So the Beatles with George Martin put together the soundtrack to the movie. Now, the funny thing is, the interesting about the movie, The Yellow Submarine, I was, researching, learning about it, that the Beatles didn't even play a lot of, it wasn't even interested in it. It wasn't even interested. They didn't put a lot of input into the movie. Let's put it that way. The Beatles did not put a lot of input into the Yellow Submarine. It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon movie. I don't know. Go look it up who did it. I didn't research. I researched that, but I didn't write it down. But this is a soundtrack to a feature-length cartoon that was actually good because the Beatles had nothing really to do with it. I'm telling you, they probably went to like 2 meetings, 3 meetings, whatever, and they just let these artists or whoever filmed people do this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's what happened. The movie actually turned out to be good. I think it came out the next year or came out early. Did it come out in 1968? I think the movie came out in 1968, the cartoon movie. And then this came out, the soundtrack came out in January, I believe. Now, there's only 4 new tracks on this. Only 4 new tracks. And they call George Martin the 5th Beatle. I just want to let y'all know, George Martin's the 5th Beatle. So, the Beatles, George Martin, Yellow Submarine. Came out January 13th, 1969. We're going back in the archives. This is before I was born, man. 1969? I wasn't even born. 39 minutes, 24 seconds. Now, first track is the Yellow Submarine. Record is from their previous album called Revolver. Now, that album, pretty sure people say the Revolver's better than this. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm starting with the Yellow Submarine. I like this album. As a kid, you're attracted to the album cover. You're attracted to the songs, the playful songs, the bars, playful bars. So the Yellow Submarine. I used to watch, the Monkeys on TV. Remember the Monkeys with the EES of them Monkeys? All that stuff. So Yellow Submarine. I was introduced to the Beatles with this song, plain and simple, and the cartoon. Right? Cartoon movie. So, great little story, fun record to sing along with, and just good music reflecting those times of like the 70s, 60s, 70s, you know what I mean? That was the time. They probably was experimenting, baby. They probably was wearing the dashikis and smoking the weed and what they call it, weed back then? I think they call it weed back then. Did they? I don't know, whatever they called it, And what did they call weed back then? I can't remember, but I have to look it up. But I think it was weed. Or they, they have a lot of names. We got so many names for weed now. But anyway, This is that 60s, 70s vibe, you know what I mean? Like had that psychedelic feel. This whole project probably had that psychedelic feel. The movie had a psychedelic feel. But this is a fun record to sing along with, and just good music, like I said, inflecting time. So number 2, Only a Northern Song. Now, this is an interesting record. This is a diss record. It's a diss record to the record label. That's what it is. So Only a Northern Song. So not Harrison's best record based on a psychedelic production, right? George Harrison's song, like I said, was actually a diss record to Northern Song Publishing. So Northern Song Publishing would, I think maybe this, I don't know if this is under his contract. They probably, it's like, like an artist got maybe one more album they got to do. They probably like, I'm going to put together whatever to get off this contract. And the Beatles was just so friggin' huge back then. The Beatles were so friggin' huge. They could probably come in here. Back then, Beatles could have came in the studio. Yeah, you, and then it would have sold millions. Like, this is how hot they was. The Beatles were just on fire back then, right? So there's documentaries and movies and, of course, all types of films about it. But yeah, this was a diss record. On the record for a couple. I love that. Who did that too? I think for rapping, I believe. Who did it? Prodigy? Mobb Deep did that. And I think someone else did it too. I know a lot of people did it. But they're probably gonna say it now. But anyway, let's go to number 3. All together now. All together now. All together now. All together now. Yeah, listen, I'm a kid at this age. I'm going. I love this record. It's a fun record. I'm like singing along. I'm like singing to it, and simple fun lyrics that could be incorporated in a child or adult group activities to highlight unity. This song, I'm pretty sure, is used in activities and everywhere, office buildings or whatever. This is a group building song, and they basically saying all together now, all together now, all together now, all together now. It's pretty much that's it. I mean, they got a couple but pretty much the whole song is them just repeating that. So, but it brings unity. It got some type of good vibe. You know what I mean? Got a fun vibe for kids or adults that still got a good vibe, want to dance and sing. Just a fun song. Let's go to number 4. Hey Bulldog. Song speaks of pure rock and roll. It's just, oh man, you got it on. It's like, I like this record. The instrumentals have like an air guitar, an air instrument feeling. Like when you listen to the music in this record, you want to, you're playing the air guitar, you're playing the air drums, you're doing that. Like I was, you're playing it. You're acting like you're the instrument, you're the musicians. Some songs, you act like the musicians. A lot of older records, the music was so pure. The music was so dynamic. The music was so good. It was mostly the music that got you, and not even the lyrics or the singer. Sometimes you listen to a whole song, maybe 5-10 minute song back in the day, because of the music, not because of the artist singing, because of the music. It was quality music. So, Hey Bulldog, like I said, song speaks of pure rock and roll. The instrumentals have you just playing all the instruments. So I was doing everything. Another record. This is another album that I was running around the house singing and dancing to because I remember it when I was a child. So I just remember the Beatles with this record. Number 5, It's All Too Much. Production has too much going on. It's that psychedelic feeling, nigga. They got a lot of that going on. Sometimes some songs are too much psychedelic. Put the weed down, or the mushroom. Put the mushrooms down and pick up the weed. Not the mushrooms. You know what I'm saying? Put the mushrooms down, man. Maybe he had too many mushrooms. I don't know what he was doing in here. LSD. They was doing that back in the day. I don't know what I'm saying. I ain't saying it was. You know what I'm saying? But it's all too much. There's too much going on in the record. Record is not as clean and popular as Harrison's hit records. 3 minutes shorter, maybe. This record's like 6 minutes and 25 seconds. Now look at me, I didn't make it. But it's 6 minutes and 25 seconds. I told you back then they made longer projects, longer songs. We had a like a attention span. Back then, we had an attention span to listen and have patience with music and life. We need to bring that patience back. Bring the patience back. Bring patience back. Anyway, it's all too much. It was too much. It was too much. It was too much. It should have been shorter. That's all. Yeah, it was too much. Number 6. All you need is love. All you need is love. It's like a peaceful song. All you need is bring the mushrooms back on this song. I was saying, but like all you need is this one of them songs, man. This was a previous release single though. I don't think this was on any of their records. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. But I believe this was just a single. You know, artists just probably throw out a single real quick and get some money. You know what I'm saying? The Beatles, like I said, Beatles could do whatever they want back in the day, and they still, well, they not passed away, but I'm saying they could still do it. You know what I'm saying? You know, they're fund trust or whoever owns this property. But all you need is love. Another previous hit record that slid on here to add value. Like I told you, this is a contract. They had to maybe do this last album with some funky stuff going on, so they just put 4 new songs and 2 songs that was already hits, and then I'll get to number 7 in a minute. 7 and beyond. 7 and beyond. 1 to 6 is they singing, you know, whatever. You know, you hear the lyrics. 7 to 13? And 7 to 13 is music. Like a theme. It's the theme of the Yellow Submarine. It's the music they play in the actual cartoon theme movie, right? So that's why I think that's what. Yeah. So the cartoon did come out first. I think the cartoon must have came out. I think it's 1968, and then I think this came out. All right. So another, like I said, this is another previous hit record that slid on this album to add value. You know, you throw a hit record on it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what people usually do. Great record and a favorite of mine. This is one of my favorite records from the Beatles. All I need is love. All I need is love. So like after that, now if you don't like listening to music and pure good music, this is because the rest of the album's just pure good music. So then you might want to cut it off. But the rest of this, I like the second part of the album, the score. This is the score of the movie, pretty much. Not the whole movie, but it's the score of some of the score of the film, the cartoon. So, man, like I said, the flip side of the vinyl is George Martin's score for the film. 7 to 13 is the score. I favor the second half, like I said. Let's go. Number 7. Pepperland. Extraordinaire producer gets his solo record, and it's beautifully orchestrated and produced. Sounds like a huge production of score for the film. And it's funny because when I started writing this review, I was writing it out of feeling first. I just felt the records and I was writing. And then I started looking it up. And it was just like I was saying, it was talking about the score. This is a score for the movie. I think people remember stuff without remembering stuff. You know, I don't know. You get that feeling? Number 8, Sea of Time. I'm enjoying the Disney-like scores that George Martin brings to your ears here. The music is dramatic and it feels alive. You know? Number 9, Sea of Holes. George is talking and taking us in. He's taking in our feelings in consideration. You can hear like your heart pound, and you can hear you can see visuals with his music. Like certain music, I'm telling you, certain music you just play. I love instrumentals. I love listening to instrumentals. So any artists, any producers out there, you got some instrumental tapes, let me know. I like just listening to music. You could go for a car ride, nice car ride, listen to music. It could be classical music. It could be anything, right? So, but music like this could be theme, score-like music. I like this. I like this joint. So, Sea of Holes, George is, like I said, taking us in our feelings throughout this solo performance. Because this is his time to shine now. The second half of the record is him. You know what I mean? He's doing the score. I'm pretty sure someone used these beautiful tunes. Like these songs, they sound so familiar. Like, not because they're on this album and they're on the actual, project of the Yellow Submarine, the cartoon. They feel like other people use them. Maybe they've been used in movies. I'm pretty sure these are popular scores. Number 10, Sea Amongst it's the Beatles. That's all I gotta say. Sea Amongst number 10. These continuous, these okay. So these continuously dramatic sounds that give you like a 3D image. Like, see, I'm saying stuff before I wrote it, because like I'm feeling the same thing I felt when I hear it. Like every time I hear it and hear these titles, I just think about what I probably previously wrote. So I get 3D images. When you listen to this music, you get you see the story, you can feel the story. So shout out to George Martin. So Mr. Martin is highlighting the movie through sound, and that's the score. But it's just lovely, man. It's just good music. Number 11, March of the Meanies. March of the Meanies, and these are like in the you gotta watch the cartoon. Go watch and support. Like they need support. They don't that mean, but go watch the Yellow Submarine. It's a good movie. Let the kids watch it. Let your kids watch it. So I think it's a classic. I think it's a classic movie. I like the Yellow Submarine. March of the Meanies. Now this is gorgeous, creative, sizable array of musics, scenes. You could tell, you know what I mean? This sounds like something out of Darth Vader's Stormtroopers. It just sounds like got that Star Trek feeling. It's like doom, 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 doom. So George Lucas, did you get that from there? Did they use this in Star Wars? Let me know in the comments. I know there's bigger Beatles fans than me out there. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know what's going on. Let me know your favorite song on this album. Let me know if you like the second half, the music, better than the first half. Because the first half, it was, they do 4 new tracks, 2 old tracks on there. So, but this where I was like enjoying. I didn't want to skip nothing once I got to 7. I didn't want to go like, sometimes you listen to a song, you go, like some of these songs, like what I say, one song was 6 minutes. I'm skipping it at 3 or so. I listen to that whole, like it's all too much. Not a good record. It's okay. It's just too long. But once it gets into this music, I love it. So like March of the Meanies, it sounds like Darth Vader, like the troopers are trooping, like and I'm pretty sure it was a scene in the cartoon that the Meanies are coming at them. You know what I'm saying? And the Beatles have to save the world or whatever, right? So number 12, Pepperland, Laid Waste. We are experiencing instrumentals that are top tier. This is the first movie score I've heard on an album. Now, there are albums that are scores. You can go get an album that's a movie score. I get that. But this was a Beatles album. And then the second half, they just put the score on it. It's like they got, like I said, they got lazy because they was in contract negotiations. I think this is the last album that they needed to provide. And maybe they lost energy and beef with the record label. I'm not sure what the situation was. But they probably was cheating. They found themselves cheating. That's why a lot of people don't like this album. If you ask a lot of Beatles fans, then I can tell you this is their favorite album. If you're a Beatles fan, what's your favorite album? Let me know. Put it in the comments below. It's probably not this one, but I like the second half. Listen, I'm telling you. I'm going to give you the score in the description. Let me know what you score this album. Let me know what you still score this album, Beatles fans. The real Beatles fans will let me know if I got anything right, if I got anything wrong. They might come to my house, like, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to the Beatles, man. Number 13, Yellow Submarine in Pepperland. Now, this is just the instrumental of the record Yellow Submarine. They start with the version with the Yellow Submarine with the verse on it. And now this one is just the actual instrumental. Now, after all the drama and suspense, so this is like I said, the score. Like this is the Meanies and everybody's taking over and it's trouble in paradise over here. And the Beatles gotta, save the day. So you can follow the score. If you know how to listen to scores, I'm telling you, this is 3D stuff. This is you can picture what's going on when you listen to this music. So after all the drama and suspense of the previous songs, I believe the Yellow Submarine and Pepperland is safe now. So this is probably when, the Beatles came and saved the day, right? and then everybody's celebrating at the end, you know, and daisies and probably smoking on something, frolicking through the daisies, smoking on something. But the Yellow Submarine, man, we all live in a Yellow Submarine. Yellow Submarine. I love that song. But I'm telling you, that's the Yellow Submarine got me into the Beatles. I don't know. What was your first record? What was your first Beatles record that you heard? What made you fall in love with the Beatles? Was it an album? Was it a song? Let me know in the comments. But this was 1969. Go check out the movie. Let the kids watch. It's not like really. I don't think they don't do drugs in the movie. It's in the cartoons. You can tell it's just a hippie. It's a hippie cartoon. You know what I'm saying? But famous for yeah. I love that shit. Yeah. That gotta be the. I know people should use that ad-lib. Rappers should use that ad-lib. Look at Beatles fans. No rappers should touch the Beatles. The Beatles fans be serious. Like, yo, the Beatles fans are like Elvis fans. They be, yo, Elvis fans are just as passionate as Beatles fans. But you know what I say about Elvis? Motherfuck Elvis and John Wayne. Shout out to Public Enemy. What? You know what I'm saying? Fuck Elvis. Tell him I said it. Yo. But anyway, this record, I do like this record. I do like the Beatles. I love the Beatles. This was designed to fulfill a contractual obligation. I did write it down, but still a fair album. I think it was a fair album. We all love the Beatles for their hits. They got hits like, what's your favorite Beatles song? You know, I like Let It Be, Let It Be, Let It Be, Let It Be, Let It Be. That's my joint. Here Comes the Sun. Hey Jude. Come Together. Right now. Come Together. Yesterday. I think Yesterday is my favorite Beatles record. My favorite Beatles song, at least. I'm going to find out which my favorite Beatles album. But I think my favorite Beatles song is Yesterday. Yesterday. I can't sing. I believe in yesterday. You know what? I think the only group that can go against the Beatles catalog, because Beatles is big. Beatles is huge. Beatles is worldwide. Beatles, the only group that can go in the verses. I know this is fake. This is fake. You know, the Beatles, they're pretty much not there. You know what I mean? They're pretty much all past. But who do you think? Wu-Tang versus the Beatles? Now, the only reason, I know it's a different genre of music. Calm down. Calm down. Look at the Beatles fans going crazy. I'm just saying, Wu-Tang is bigger than the Beatles. I think they're bigger than the Beatles. But they're just as big as the Beatles. Look at the Beatles fans going crazy. They're not bigger. They're not bigger than the Beatles. Hey, what are you talking about? Fuck out Wu-Tang. You saw fuck Elvis? Fuck Wu-Tang. Fuck Elvis? Fuck Wu-Tang. I have fun doing these, man. But anyway, man. Yo, the Passive Podcast, man. Watches on YouTube. Warner Chuck, shout out. Watches on YouTube, man. That's one of my podcasts. And I got the THHC podcast where I review music and I talk to artists. So if you're an artist, you got some good music, send it my way. I'll listen to it. It got to be an album. It got to be good music, though. I don't care what it is. It could be rock, R&B, reggae, whatever. Calypso, whatever the hell. Like R&B, rap, country, you know, any genre, folk. But as long as it's good music, I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to sit down and listen to it, give it a fair chance. If I like it, I will review it. And if you want to come on the show and review it with me, I welcome the challenge. I welcome the challenge you to sit with me. It could be Zoom. You don't have to sit with me. This is, still pandemic, Sit with me and let's discuss your favorite Beatles album. It could be Elvis. I'll listen to Elvis and judge it. If it's, because listen, I used to listen. I listened to Elvis back in the day. Back in the day, before I knew he was stealing records and stealing songs from black people, just like anybody else. I don't know if they did. Did they steal records? Did they steal records from black people? Did they steal dance moves from black people? Like, Elvis did a lot of stuff, man. You heard a lot of black careers. Did the Beatles do that too? I'm not sure. Hopefully they didn't. I like the Beatles. And if they did, damn Beatles. Hopefully you didn't do it. But anyway, I'm out of here, man. Yo, happy Sunday, man. One love, man. One love the music, man. It's Marquis Walker, a.k.a. Severe, a.k.a. Cincerely Yours, man. And I just love music. Hit the like. Hit the subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Leave a comment. Talk about whoever you want. Challenge me on an album. I welcome the challenge. This is Marquis Walker, man, a.k.a. Severe, a.k.a. Cincerely Yours, man. And you know what I say at the end of all videos, you need to practice something. If you need to practice, like a lot, you know, you need practice to ride a bike, you need practice, you know, the poetry, whatever, play basketball, you practice, right? Your parents tell you to practice. Practice more love than hate. How about that? Love over hate, man. I'm out. Peace. One love.